Hello, it's Ivaldi Sako. Welcome to the show. In this episode, we'll see the 3 steps to hire the best team, even if it's your first hire, how to prevent yourself making big mistakes, and hire the right people for the job, pretty much for the first time. My system to hire the best people on repeat, and how to delegate properly to be more productive and waste no time. I'm sorry, I'm a little cold, so I'm going to try to articulate better my thoughts and my ideas. If you're new here, by the way, my name is Ivaldi Sako. I'm the founder of OriGrowth.com, and here on this show, I help ambitious entrepreneurs build a real empire and live their best life. I help you in business, mindset, personal development, human psychology. I talk about this on this show, and if you like this kind of things to help you become truly free and successful, and you're an ambitious entrepreneur, you will benefit a lot from this show. So I suggest you subscribe on this show right now to not forget and miss next episodes. And if you get some value out of it, share it with a friend. Maybe like the podcast if you get value from it. Let's get into it. So, first, most of what I'm going to be talking to you about today is taken from 2 books. The Hard Thing About Hard Things from Ben Horowitz. And the second book, I forgot the names of the authors, but it's a book on Amazon. It's called Working Backwards. And it's 2 great books, especially if you are an ambitious entrepreneur, if you want to build a great company. And they talk about hiring in it. And it's so funny because I was struggling to hire, and I was reading those books without the intention of learning how to hire. But the moment that I had this problem, I came up in this in the section of the books on hiring. And so I learned a lot on hiring. I've created a process, and I'm going to tell you about it. And also I have, at the end, some notes that I've taken on different things that I learned from different places. So, step 1. First of all, how do you hire when you have never done the job, right? Because maybe you want to hire someone when you haven't done the job prior to this. And it's easier to do it when you have already knowledge on the work to do, right? The work to be done, you know exactly what it is. Great. It's way easier to hire like this. But oftentimes, you need to hire people that are better than you. And so you don't know exactly what they should do. And Ben Horowitz talks about this in The Hard Thing About Hard Things. So there are 3 steps. Step 1, know what you want. First, you need to realize how ignorant you are to resist the temptation to educate yourself only on the interview. So you're going to go and get people to interview for the job, and you're going to learn a lot of things. Don't just learn from the interviews. Learn from it, it's cool, but not only from that. You want to learn on, your personal time. You want to learn going on the internet, learning about how people have done the job prior to this, and educate yourself on the job to be able to know exactly what is the job in the first place. So, here are some mistakes to avoid. Hiring on the look and feel. So, if you feel like a good person is like a person is it seems like they know what they're talking about, and then you hire them. Another mistake. Looking for someone out of central casting, someone that is usually this type of person. If you're hiring a developer, you feel like it's a nerd. I think it's a good bet, right? Maybe someone that is very extroverted could be a great developer. Why not? It is possible. So don't fixate on this stereotype that you may have on what the person should look like or should be like. And you must hire the right person for your company at this particular time. So don't hire a person for too too much thinking of long term, right? If you're thinking, okay, this person is going to be great 2 years from now, she's going to be able to do great things. What about now? What about the 2 years up until then? Is it going to be the best person? Is she going to be the best person for the job right now? Then you should hire her right now and extensively on a long period of time, right? On the right direction, but not necessarily like focusing too much on the long term, because then it's not going to be useful right now. You understand my point? So also for the company that you are in right now. So maybe you're a manager and you're the manager of your company, and you want this person to be the right person for right now in the moment of your company, but also for your company, right? So the right developer for your company is not going to be the same one than for Amazon, right? Just keep this in mind. Other mistake, valuing lack of weakness rather than strength. And this is when you also have this kind of idea in your mind of who you want to hire. You want to fixate on what you want, not what you don't want, right? Because what you don't want is, let me rephrase that. You want to fixate on the strength of the person, not on their weaknesses. The weaknesses come in a second part, right? You want to focus on what do you want in this person. If this person has this, this, and that, okay, great. And then I can do with these weaknesses. These are okay, right? The main focus has to be on the strength. You want this person to be able to do this. That's the most important. And then you want to be to figure out who the best person is. You want to act in the role. Act in the role if you have never done the job. If you have already done the job, it's pretty easy. You know exactly what this person will need to do. But if you don't know, you need to act in the role. Act as if you had this job and you had to do the work. So you need to educate yourself on what you need to do. You need to, when you act in the role, you see things in the perspective of in it. And so you know what needs to, like all the little small things that needs to be paid attention to. You have a different perspective. And this perspective is very important to get the right person for the job. And you can also, additionally to act in the role, bring in domain experts to help you hire the right company and give you knowledge on and context on what is required for this job. And the step 2 is to run a process that figures out the right match. This is a step 2. And you take the knowledge that you gathered and translate it into a process that attracts the right talent. This is easy to do again when you know what the job is, but if you don't know what the job is, you need to act. And what I did to act in the role, I basically did a to-do list. So I know the 4 or 5 team person that I need for a system in my business. I've written to-do lists, SOPs, mainly to-do lists, and then SOPs of what the person needs to do, what needs to be accomplished by this person, by this role. And so when you know exactly what needs to be done, you know what to look for. So now step 2 is to run a process that figures out the right match, right? The right person for the right company at the right time. So I have taken this process from Amazon's bar raiser process, bar raiser hiring process. This process basically Amazon trying to, with each hire, raise the bar of their team. And this process is a little more complex than I'm going to tell you now, because Amazon is just like such a bigger company. Right now I've taken this big process and applied it to a smaller company, right? If you're making up until 100K per month, I think it's a good process to use. Even more than that, if you're making less than millions a year, this is definitely the process you want to use. So, first of all, is the job description. You have 8 steps, and I'm going to tell you all the steps right now, and then I'll tell you more in details each how to do them each in details, right? I have some templates to give you as well. So, 1, job description. 2, Calendly questionnaire and interview booking. So, you're going to ask questions. I'll get into it later. 3, posts on platforms and outreach. 4, resume review. 5, interview. 6, written feedback. 7, hiring decision. And then make the offer to the person. So, 1, job description. I have made a template for the job description. It's pretty simple. If you're watching this, I think the sun is going to be a little, troubling for you to see or to be able to, appreciate the video. Anyway, just listen to it. The audio is the main thing here. You want the job description to be specific and focused on the job. So you know what you want right now, and you're going to write down exactly what you want. And I haven't thought about this previously, but I think working on the decision prior to everything, so working on the decision-making process, is the first thing that you should do. I didn't do this, but right now I'm just thinking that this is the best way to do it. So I'm going to tell you right now about the decision making, right? Hiring decision, how to make the decision. Because once you know how you will make the decision, everything else will be easier. Your job description is going to write itself out. You're going to know exactly which questions to ask on the interview and how to make the decision. And so, I'm going to tell you about the 7th step in the process first, the hiring decision. So, I've taken this from another book, and this is Thinking Fast and Slow, because this was alright, I'm just moving the camera a little bit for me to not have the sun in my eyes. So, Thinking Fast and Slow. There's a chapter in it that tells you about how to make good decisions to hire people and to make it as probable as possible that you actually hire the right person and you don't have biases, especially like optimistic biases toward the person because you like it, or maybe you don't take into account the right character traits that should be prioritized over some other trait. Basically, the book tells you that having a formula and some kind of algorithm to make decisions for you is way more likely to get you to make you do the best decision than if you made the decision yourself. So don't rely on your judgment, but rely on the formula judgment, right? The formula that you have created previously, before having anybody in front of you. So, I'm going to read you directly from the book. If you are serious about hiring the best possible person for the job, this is what you should do. First, select a few traits that are prerequisites for success in this position. For example, technical proficiency, engaging personality, reliability, and so on, right? Don't overdo it. 6 dimensions is a good number. The traits you choose should be as independent as possible from each other, and you should feel that you can assess them reliably by asking a few factual questions. This is very important. Next, once you have listed the character traits, and for each character trait, a couple of questions to determine if this character trait is like if this person has this character traits, you need to make to score. So to determine the score for each question. So for each question, you need to write down, okay, what you will rate this question out of 5. So I'm going to read you. Why am I explaining to you? Next, make a list of those questions for each trait and think about how you will score it. Say on a 1 to 5 scale. You should have an idea of what you will call very weak or very strong. These preparations should take you half an hour or so, and a small investment that you can make that can make a significant difference in the quality of the people you hire. To avoid halo effects, you must collect the information on one trait at a time, scoring each before you move on to the next one. Do not skip around. To evaluate each candidate, add up the 6 scores. Because you are in charge of the final decision, you should not do a close your eyes. So this is basically, this is a reference to the previous section, which is not important. Firmly resolve that you will hire the candidate whose final score is the highest, even if there is another one whom you like better. Try to resist your wish to invent broken legs to change the ranking. A vast amount of research offers a promise. You are much more likely to find the best candidate if you use this procedure than if you do what people normally do in this situation, which is to go into the interview unprepared and to make choices by an overall intuitive judgment, such as, I looked into his eyes and I liked what I saw. So, what you want is to have do this process right now, before writing questions for the interview, before doing the job description. Because once you've done that, everything else becomes easier. This is the one essential thing to do. And so you have now character traits that you know you're looking for. And you have questions to assess if a person has these character traits or not. And so therefore the second step of the process is a Calendly questionnaire. So basically I make people go through I post the job post, right, on platforms like Upwork, Jobs Online. You can do Indeed, but it's not often very optimal if you don't have big budgets or anything like this. You can go on social media groups, Facebook groups. You can DM people. You can just go look for where the target talent is. And wait a second, I'm going to. Oh. Is it better like this? There's too much sun. Anyway, you then have a Calendly questionnaire. So you have a certain post. People come to you and apply, right? To apply, we make them go through a Calendly questionnaire to book a call, to book the call of the interview, right? Which you will then be able to move around, right? They choose a time that is best suited for them. If it's not good for you, you can then change it. But the important thing is that you get data. You get people that have, maybe you can make them a test, right? You can give them something to do and give you their work before you interview them. So the people that you can maybe interview, just the people that have provided you with the best work, with the best answers to the questions of the candidate. So this is the first filter, right? And after that, you will filter them, but you want to post on platforms. This is step 3. Maybe the sequence is not the right one, right? But anyway, job description, Calendly questionnaire for interview booking, and you do a post on the platforms, or you do outreach, as I told you. And for social media, for example, I have a template for a post to get people to apply. So it's basically the same thing as if you were writing an ad right? I used to run a lot of ads, and this is basically a very similar thing, but except of talking to the target client, you talk to the target talent. And so the template goes like this: attention, target client, target talent, right? Attention, VAs, attention, copywriters, whatever you're looking for, right? The job. We're looking for, and then you tell about the job more precisely, and we're looking for this to join us on our mission to help experts educate the world. This is our mission. And you tell them about the opportunity, why it's a great opportunity, the benefits, one big benefit at least, and then you give them the call to action. If you're interested, click this link. And then they go on the job post, right? And the job post, you could do this on a website, simple job post. And I don't know if I told you this, the job post, there's a precise template for the job description. Because now, I haven't told you about the job description, because the job post basically is going to be the job description. The job description, plus maybe some other things that the platform requires. But basically, like the post on platforms is going to be the job description. And so in the job description, you want to have those things that you precise. So 1, the role. 2, the responsibilities. 3, the results. 4, the requirements. 5, the location. 6, the salary. 7, the benefits. And also you want to have your principles or your values that you want the person to subscribe to when joining the company, right? You want to filter the people that believe the same thing that you believe, right? To have, just people that fit into your culture. Role, responsibilities, results, basically what you want the job to create, results, like the metric, for example, that you want this person to have, to be responsible for. Requirements, the base minimum that you want this kind of experience, you want them to have worked in this kind of things. Location, where it is, salary, benefits. Benefits is also like you're a great company, or you have this bonus performances, right? These are the kind of benefits that you can give. Then you will have the posts, and you will have people and candidates apply for the job. Apply by filling a Calendly questionnaire. This questionnaire, we make it, we basically take the data from it and turn it into a candidate sheet, a candidate review sheet, where an Excel sheet basically that you will write the name in it. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you exactly what we put in it. Oh, I can't. Well, basically, in the candidate sheet, I put all the answers to the questions that they've answered in the Calendly form, right? To actually book a call. And also, I put in the same sheet, after those questions, the questions that I'm going to ask in the interview. And right now, you should have a precise idea of which questions you're going to ask in the interview, because based on the character traits that you want, right? And how you will rank them. So you will be able to put results on all these questions and have a score at the end of the sheet. And basically the decision that you're going to make is who has the highest score, and who you will like working with, right? Because if you will absolutely hate working with someone that it's just like there's no connection between you, and you absolutely hate that person, for example, let's say, even if it has a high score, it's going to make your life miserable. So don't choose them. But in most cases, you want to choose the person with the highest score. And Yeah, you have the interview questions then because you have them, right? You won't maybe an interview ask some other questions that are not based on the character traits that you want. So, for example, are you able to do this, that, additionally? Maybe. But if you stick to the essential things to get the score right, I think it's best. Then there's the written feedback. The written feedback is something that I've taken also from the bar raiser process of Amazon. And it's basically like you take 15 minutes after each interview to write a detailed, specific feedback based on the criteria of the job, the one that you want, and you write examples. And the written feedback is mostly when you have a team to hire people, when you have a board. I think it's useful because it will help you make the decision like more correctly, even like in addition to the score already. But it will also help you tell to your manager, your future manager, for example, if you don't already have one, how to make the decision, right? So you basically will be able to delegate easier the hiring process later. And you can fill the written feedback with examples of questions, answers that the candidate answered. I'm really tired. Let me repeat that. You want to fill examples from the interview of, okay, this person said, answered this to this question, right? And so because of this, I think it's a great fit. This is a good point. But this is very important. I don't like that. This will not get the job done. So I am, and in the bar raiser process, they have 4 grades to vote for whether or not we're going to hire someone. The one option is strongly inclined to hire, then inclined to hire, then not inclined to hire, then strongly not inclined to hire. And based on those 4, people are going to vote independently, and at the end, people see, okay, there are more people that have said they're inclined to hire, so maybe we're going to hire. And at the end, there's only one person which has the role of the bar raiser in the Amazon process, that is going to decide whether or not we're going to hire this person, because it's going to raise the bar in the team. You can also use the audio recording of the Zoom. So in the interview, you can record the interview on Zoom, for example, or record the interview if you're doing it live with your phone or something. And you can just transcribe it and have the exact answers to the questions to remember, because sometimes you're going to want to make reference, remember what someone has said on this or that, on this or this question, and it's going to allow you to make a better decision. And I think that's pretty much it, because when you start with the hiring decision, when you know how you're going to be able to make the decision, because you know who exactly you want, for what exact job you want, it's like everything is very easy. And then you make them an offer. You can make them an offer by email, tell them, okay, great, we think you're a great fit, take your time, decide. Anyway, this is very easy. Now, here are some hiring and delegation notes I took. Take full ownership of your entire company and over hiring and training. To never say it's the employee's fault, it's your fault. You can not only post on job posts, you can not only post on Upwork or things like this, right? Or on Facebook groups. You can also go and hire people in real life and just actively like be a hunter of talent. Be able to like see, okay, this person is doing this job. They work for $12 an hour. I think I can get them to be very valuable to me at $20 an hour. So I'm going to make them the proposal. Hey, I'm Ivaldi. I have this company, and we pay this much. It's a fun environment. Do you know if anyone would be interested in this job? You don't tell them, okay, hey, I want to hire you. Do you know anyone that would be interested in this job, right? And so they will be, oh, I think I'm interested. Then there's 2 levels of delegation: giving a task and training your employees to make decisions. Because you can just tell them, okay, do this, and then you can tell them, okay, you're going to make the decision yourself. This is a higher level, and it's much harder because you need to trust them more. You must have, trust in them, and have tested them a little bit. Then you need to ask yourself, what would be the simple way to solve that problem? So, no, forgive me. Instead, like this is a mindset shift that you want to have. Instead of telling yourself, how can I do this? You ask yourself, who can I hire to do this for me? And this is like the shift from someone that is just doing everything himself to someone that is trying to build a team, trying to free up his time. And employees want autonomy, freedom, and be their own boss right now. This is a quote, and this is a lie. This is what people tend to think, but what employees want really is a reliable way to get results and a safe way to make money. Just like they prefer safety and reliability over anything else. And they want structure. So your job is to make it easier for them to get results for you. You want to give them SOPs. You want to give them standardized operating procedure. I think this is exactly the thing in English. And and you must know what winning looks like, right? You must know what it looks like when the employee has done the job right. And you must give them this visual so they can actually do it for you. And then there's this one thing that is extremely useful. It's another Excel sheet. The 2-metric management sheet. And this is I've taken this idea from Sean Pori. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, but it's he has the 1-metric management. But I found that the 1-metric management is not as useful, at least for me, than the 2-metric management. And basically, this is an Excel sheet to be able to manage your entire company from one sheet, basically. And this assigns 1 metric to 1 person. And every month you can just see, okay, this is the metric. We have made progress on that. On this employee, is he doing good or not? And it's very easy to have this overview of your company and how well it's doing. And you want to assign 1 responsibility, 1 metric for which a person is responsible for. So this way, there's no like blurry, thing. Okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. You give them 1 metric. And what I changed in this 1-metric management sheet, I put a 2-metric management sheet because there's quantitative metrics that you can actually quantify with numbers, and there's qualitative metrics that are harder to quantify. And so I have 2 metrics for each person. 1 quantitative, let's say for a video editor, it would be average view duration on YouTube, for example. And the qualitative metric would be how awesome is the video, right? How good you feel when you watch the video, how entertaining it is, how you feel when you see it, right? It's not only like the average view duration is one metric, but how personalized is the video to your branding? It's like there's a difference, right? So there's this, we'll say, subjective metric and this objective metric. And with these two, it's very easy to delegate and to manage people. Then I have some rules for firing. If you have the thought of firing, that's a bad sign, and you need to immediately act on this thought of firing by clarifying with the person what is the situation and what you want them to do. Not exactly like firing them immediately, but clarifying the situation. Because if you have the thought, this is a bad sign, right? So you need to clarify and then move on to do something like to hopefully not want to fire them anymore. Who do you want to hire first? Who should you hire first? The first thing to hire is to hire someone like a VA, a virtual assistant, that will free up your time. Like basically you want to free up your time so you can do more activities that make you money. And then you want to hire someone that makes you actually more money. So someone in sales. And then you want to hire someone in the operation sides of things. And if you are struggling to hire people, you need to consider raising your prices to your clients, because the only way to build a great team is to also have the capacity to pay them well. And to pay them well, you need to raise your prices on your clients. And to do that, you need to provide more value. So at the end of the day, you need to just like provide as much value as possible and charge, to be able to charge more, to be able to pay more your team, to be able to provide value. And it's just like a great feedback loop. And so, yeah, I think that's good for today. If you like this show, hopefully, like basically right now you can actually hire your first employees and your first team, and you have this process in place. Just go use it. Hopefully you like the show. If you like it, share the show, and I'll see you in the next episode.